Have you ever wondered what makes the prayer methods of men and women in Islam distinct from each other? It's a question that has intrigued many, and today, we're going to explore the answer in depth. This exploration is not about spiritual differences, but rather the physical aspects of prayer. Despite the differences, it's important to remember that the spiritual essence of prayer remains the same for both genders. The prayer times, the supplications, the number of prostrations and bows are all identical. The differences arise from the unique physical aspects of women, as prescribed by Allah, the Supreme, in the Holy Quran, and through the Hadith of the Holy Prophet. These differences largely pertain to clothing, body concealment, posture, and concealment of voice. So, are you ready to gain a deeper understanding of these distinctions and their origins? Let's delve into the specifics of these differences and their origins. The Holy Quran provides guidance for women on how to conduct themselves, including during prayer. The Quran, being a divine guidebook, sheds light on every aspect of life, including the way women should carry themselves during prayer. Two vital verses, Surah Nur verse 31 and Surah Ahzab verse 59, provide clear instructions on the concealment of the body during prayer, emphasizing the importance of modesty and respect for the sanctity of prayer. Surah Nur verse 31 counsels Muslim women to lower their gaze, guard their chastity, and not to reveal their adornment except what is apparent. It further instructs them to keep their cover wrapped over their bosoms and not to reveal their adornment except to certain specified individuals. This verse highlights the significance of modesty, both in attire and demeanor, reinforcing the idea that the body should be properly covered during prayer. Moving on to Surah Ahzab verse 59, it provides further guidance on the concealment of the body. The verse states, "O Prophet, command your wives and your daughters and the women of the Muslims to cover their faces with a part of their cloaks. This is closer to their being recognized and not being harassed, and Allah is oft-forgiving, most merciful." This verse underscores the importance of women covering their bodies, including their faces, during prayer as a means of promoting modesty and protecting them from unwarranted attention. These verses, in their essence, stress the importance of modesty and respect for the sanctity of prayer. They are not just rules or guidelines, but rather, they are principles that aim to safeguard the dignity and sanctity of Muslim women, allowing them to connect with the divine in a respectful and protected manner. In conclusion, the Quranic verses Surah Nur verse 31 and Surah Ahzab verse 59 serve as clear guidance for women on the concealment of body during prayer. They emphasize the importance of modesty and respect for the sanctity of prayer, providing a framework for women to worship in a manner that is both respectful and dignified. These verses emphasize the importance of modesty and respect for the sanctity of prayer. The Quran also provides guidance on the tone of voice women should adopt. Specifically, Surah Ahzab verses 32 to 33 provide clear instructions. These verses are addressed to the wives of the Prophet, but their teachings extend to all Muslim women who seek to live a life of piety and devotion. The verses admonish, "O the wives of the Prophet, you are not like any other women. If you really fear Allah, then do not speak softly lest the one in whose heart is a disease have any inclination, and speak fairly." The caution against speaking softly is a reminder to maintain a voice that doesn't draw unnecessary attention, which could lead to misunderstandings or misconceptions. It further advises women to speak fairly, encouraging honest and respectful communication. These verses guide women to maintain a voice that doesn't attract undue attention, especially during prayer. The Hadith, the sayings of the Holy Prophet, also contribute to the differences in prayer methods of men and women. These sacred texts provide further guidance on how women should position themselves during prayer, emphasizing the importance of modesty and humility. Let's delve into some of these hadiths and explore their teachings on prayer positions for women. Abdullah ibn Umar, a companion of the Holy Prophet, narrates one such hadith. He tells us that the Holy Prophet said, "When a woman sits in sajda or prostration, she should place one thigh upon the other, keeping them close to one another. During this prostration, her stomach should touch her thighs, and she should maintain full consideration of hijab." The Prophet further noted that when a woman prays in this manner, Allah Ta'ala looks upon her and says to the angels, "Bear witness that I have forgiven her." This narration, recorded in both Baihaqi and Kanzul Ummal, underscores the importance of maintaining a modest and humble posture during prayer. In another hadith narrated by Wa'il ibn Hajar, another companion of the Holy Prophet, we learn more about the distinct prayer positions for women. The Prophet taught Wael ibn Hajar how to pray, and instructed him to lift his hands up to his ears during the beginning of prayer. He further advised him to show women this gesture, indicating that the prayer positions for men and women differ in certain respects. Additionally, the Holy Prophet once observed two women offering prayer. He advised them, "When you women make sajda or prostrate, let the limbs of your body touch one another and make them touch the ground." He added, "Indeed, in this prostration posture, women are not similar to men." This guidance, as recorded in Masail Abu Dawud, reiterates the unique prayer positions for women, emphasizing the significance of maintaining a close contact with the ground during prostration. These hadiths collectively illuminate the distinct prayer positions for women. They emphasize the importance of modesty, humility, and a deep connection with the ground during prayer. Through these teachings, women are encouraged to maintain a unique posture during prayer that respects their distinct physique and fosters a deep sense of humility and devotion. In essence, these hadiths remind us that while the spiritual essence of prayer remains the same for both men and women, the physical aspects of prayer vary to respect the unique physicality and modesty of women. They also highlight the importance of observing hijab or modesty during prayer, reflecting the broader Islamic value of modesty in all aspects of life. These hadiths provide clear instructions on how women should conduct themselves during prayer, emphasizing the importance of modesty and humility. Now that we have the context and references, let's examine the practical differences in prayer methods. Prayer is a deeply personal and spiritual practice, and while the essence of prayer is universal, there are some practical variations in the methods that men and women use to offer their prayers. These differences are not meant to discriminate or segregate, but are designed to respect the unique nature of women and ensure their comfort and dignity during prayer. Let's start with the differences in clothing. For men, the minimum requirement is to cover from the navel to the knees. For women, however, the rules are a bit more comprehensive. Except for the face, hands, and feet, all other parts of the body should be covered during prayer. This is achieved by wearing loose-fitting clothes that do not reveal the shape of the body and a headscarf or hijab to cover the hair. Next, let's talk about the concealment of the body. As we discussed earlier, the Quran instructs women to maintain modesty by not revealing their adornments except what is apparent. This is achieved by keeping the body concealed during prayer. For instance, when a woman is in the position of sajda or prostration, she is advised to keep her body close together, with one thigh over the other, and her stomach touching her thighs. This posture ensures that her body remains concealed even in this state of deep submission to God. Moving on to the differences in posture, there are subtle variations in how men and women perform the physical aspects of prayer. For instance, when standing in prayer, men are advised to keep their feet apart, while women are advised to keep their feet together. Similarly, while men are encouraged to make their prostration wide and open, women are advised to keep their arms and legs closer to their bodies. This difference in posture not only respects the physical differences between men and women, but also enhances the sense of tranquility and concentration during prayer. Finally, let's discuss the concealment of voice. While men are encouraged to recite their prayers out loud, women are advised to keep their recitation soft and low. This is especially applicable during congregational prayers where multiple people are praying together. The concealment of voice is not about suppressing women's voices, but rather about maintaining the serene and peaceful atmosphere of prayer. To illustrate these differences, let's consider an example. Imagine a woman preparing to offer her afternoon prayer. She first ensures that she is properly covered, with only her face, hands, and feet visible. She then begins her prayer, standing with her feet together and her body modestly concealed. As she recites her prayers, her voice is soft and low, audible only to herself. As she moves through the different postures of prayer, she keeps her body close together, maintaining her modesty and dignity at all times. These differences in prayer methods are not about superiority or inferiority, but about acknowledging and respecting the unique characteristics of women. They serve to ensure that women can offer their prayers in a manner that is comfortable, dignified, and in line with the teachings of the Quran and Hadith. Remember, the essence of prayer is the same for everyone: to connect with our Creator, to seek His mercy and blessings, and to find peace and solace in His remembrance. The differences in the practical aspects of prayer serve to facilitate this connection and make the experience of prayer more meaningful and fulfilling for everyone. As we conclude our discussion on the practical differences in prayer methods,
It's important to remember that these differences are not rigid rules but flexible guidelines. They are meant to enhance the experience of prayer, not hinder it. So whether you're a man or a woman, always approach your prayer with an open heart and a sincere intention. After all, it's the sincerity of our hearts that truly matters to God, not the outward form of our prayers. These differences in prayer methods are designed to respect the unique nature of women and ensure their comfort and dignity during prayer.
We have explored the differences in prayer methods of men and women in Islam, rooted in the Holy Quran and Hadith. This exploration has taken us on a journey through the sacred texts of Islam, where we've uncovered the nuances and subtleties that make the prayer experience unique for women. We started by looking at the Quranic references for the concealment of the body, specifically Surah Nur verse 31 and Surah Ahzab verse 59. These verses emphasize the importance of modesty and chastity, urging Muslim women to keep their gaze low, protect their chastity, and not reveal their adornment except what is apparent. They are also encouraged to wrap the cover over their bosoms and to cover their faces with a part of their cloaks, as a means of being recognized and not being harassed. Next, we delved into the Quranic references for the concealment of voice, particularly Surah Ahzab verses 32-33. Here, the wives of the Prophet are reminded that they are not like any other women. They are asked to speak fairly and not softly, to prevent any unwanted inclinations in those who may harbor a disease in their hearts. They are also encouraged to remain in their houses and not unveil themselves like the unveiling prevalent in the times of ignorance, as a testament to their dignity and grace. Moving on, we examined the Hadith references for the differences in prayer positions. We learn from the narrations of Abdullah ibn Umar and Wail ibn Hajar that the Holy Prophet advised women to sit in sajda by putting one thigh upon the other, and at the time of sajda let their stomach touch their thighs. He also encouraged them to let the limbs of their body touch one another and the ground during prostration, a posture unique to women. Finally, we discussed the practical differences in prayer methods. We learned that while the spiritual essence of prayer remains the same for both genders, the physical aspects like clothing, concealment of body, posture, and concealment of voice differ due to the unique physique and societal roles of women. In conclusion, the differences in prayer methods between men and women in Islam are not about superiority or inferiority. They are about understanding and embracing the unique roles and responsibilities that men and women have in the spiritual journey of Islam. They are about acknowledging the divine wisdom and guidance that Allah, the Supreme, has bestowed upon us through the Holy Quran and Hadith. They are about cherishing our individuality while striving for collective spiritual growth. Remember, these differences are not about superiority or inferiority, but about understanding and embracing the unique roles and responsibilities that men and women have in the spiritual journey of Islam.